Hello, my name is Gabriel and I'm here to enlighten you with the information I believe everybody should know. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about the part 2 of the rules of being human. I covered 2 rules last video. One is that you will receive a body, and I went more in depth on that understanding and made it relate more to your self-being. I also covered rule number 2, that you will learn lessons. I went more in depth on that subject and explaining how things happen for a reason in your life. Make sure to check that video out if it kind of catches your interest. It's very fascinating. But today I believe I'm going to cover 2 more rules. Rule number 3, there are no mistakes, only lessons. Growth is a process of trial and error, experimentation. The failed experiments are as much of the process as the experiment that ultimately works. I believe this rule will connect very well with a lot of people because you usually see this type of slang or understanding or mindset in a lot of successful people. They usually talk about how much they failed before they became successful. But looking back at their whole process of evolution in their success rate, they had to go through downfalls, failed experiments. But through that process, those failed experiments helped them become more intelligent on the whole subject they were pushing. And then one day they ultimately found one thing that actually worked. You see this in a lot of successful people, how they used to be kind of like talked down on, but now they're balling, I guess you could say. But they are just overall successful now. They had to go through things that people are afraid to do, which is fail. But failing is just a learning experience for you to better yourself, to become the better person at this unique subject that you've always wanted to push. Of course, there's going to be times where you might get it first try, but that doesn't really happen to a lot of people. They have to go through a process of trial and error to figure out what works for them. I believe this is the type of mindset everybody should have. They shouldn't be afraid to try things just because they don't think it's gonna work. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, you learn that it doesn't work and you work on something else, or you add that understanding to your benefit to build off of a greater idea. That's the mindset everyone should have, especially if you want to become successful. And not even successful, more happy in life or more appreciative of things around you. You just can't be afraid to do things. I read about this study that this doctor, or I'm not 100% sure what his profession was, but he would do surveys on people that were about to pass. And he would ask them, what is one thing that you would change about your life if you could? And most of them responded to do as much as they could. Go back and take opportunities head on that they didn't take in the first time. You simply just gotta do it. It's you that is stopping you. Rule number 4. A lesson will repeat itself until learned. A lesson will present itself to you in various ways and forms until it is learned. Then you can go on to the next lesson. This lesson very much connected with me because I noticed that a lot of people are stuck in like a negative loop of some sort, where they're always complaining about something, where they just cave themselves in and like they don't express their true potentials and love. And I believe that the reason they're complaining about specific things is because there is a subconscious block of some sort that is stopping them from like pursuing their, I guess you could say, trail. And I believe this really has to do with just a negative mindset. For example, say someone runs into you and they're very negative, and like that negativity kind of like attaches to you and it will ruin the rest of your day. But what if that's a lesson within itself to, I guess you could say, be more acceptant to that individual and let him be, and don't let it attract you, and you become a better person after you learn that lesson. But a lot of people don't think like that, so they kind of get stuck in that loop of negativity and have it ruin their days. But once you learn the lesson to just, I guess you could say, forgive them or let them be, that loop is broken. The loop reverses back onto them and you've learned your lesson to stay away from that. And when time moves on, you become a more happier person. They even help that individual out because he starts to realize that, because it starts backfiring on him or her. I'm gonna give another example. This kind of relates to the first, technically third rule that I just made, that you have to do trial and error until you figure out what works. And in this rule, that lessons repeat themselves until learned. It's kind of like you keep doing the lesson that keeps failing, but once you learn that a certain way where you don't fail anymore, you move on, you progress. That can go in a lot of aspects of a lot of people's lives, but it begins simply with a mindset. Well, I believe that is all the rules I'm going to cover for today. There's still 5 more, and I'll cover them in more videos. But I really hope you find this video somewhat interesting and kind of connective, and kind of awakens you to a different understanding of how to perceive of things. Nonetheless, I really hope you liked this video, and if you did, make sure to like and sub for more videos on enlightenment. But that's all I really wanted to say today. Thank you for watching, and much love.